me by will, but for 1,000 crowns, and, as thou sayest, charged my brother on his blessing to breed me well. There begins my sadness. My brother Jakes, he keeps at school, and report speaks gold only of his profit. For my part, he keeps me rustically at home, or, to speak more properly, stays me here at home unkept. For call you that the keeping for a gentleman of my birth that differs not from the stalling of an ox? His horses are bred better, for besides that they are fair with their feeding, they are taught their manage, and to that end riders dearly hired. But I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth, for the which his animals on his dunghills are as much bound to him as I. Besides this nothing that he so plentifully gives me, the something that nature gave me, his countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hinds, bars me the place of a brother, and as much as in him lies, minds my gentility with my education. This is it, Adam, that grieves me, and the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it, yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go apart, Adam, and thou shalt hear how he will shake me up.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I'm not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir. I'm helping you mar that which God made. A poor, unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir. Be better employed, and be not a while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent that I should come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well, here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
Aye. Better than him I am before knows me. I know you are my eldest brother. The courtesy of nations allows you my better in that you are the firstborn. But the same tradition takes not away my blood, were there 20 brothers betwixt us. I have as much of my father in me as you.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Natalia, handsome me villain.
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. He was my father, and he is thrice the villain that said such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat till this other had pulled out thy tongue for saying so. Thou hast railed on thyself.
Sweet masters, be patient, for thy father's remembrance be at accord.
Let me go, I said.
You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding from me all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me the poor lottery my father left me by testament. With that I will go buy my fortunes.
And what wilt thou do when that is spent? Beg? Well, I will not long be troubled with you. You shall have some part of your will. Get you with him, you old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most true, I have lost my teeth in thy service. God be with my old master. He would not have spoke such a word.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my cause, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and would you yet I were merrier? Unless you could teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Herein I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke my father, so thou hadst been still with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love to me were so righteously tempered as mine is to thee?
Then I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have, and truly when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honor I will, and when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
From henceforth I will, coz, and devise sports. Let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do, to make sport with all, but love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport, neither then with safety of a pure blush thou mayst in honor come off again.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so, for the benefits are mightily misplaced, and the bountiful blind woman doth most mistake in her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favoredly.
Nay, now thou goest forth from Fortune's office to nature. Fortune reigns in the gifts of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
No. When nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wit to flout at fortune, hath not fortune sent in this fool to cut off the argument? How now, wit, whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by my honor. But I was bid to come.
Where lend you that oath, fool?
Of a certain knight who swore by his honor they were good pancakes, and swore by his honor the mustard was not. Now, I'll stand to it. The pancakes were not, and the mustard was good, and yet was not the knight forsworn.
I'll prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge.
Marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now. Stroke your chins, and swear by your beards I am a knave.
By our beards,
If we have them.
thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honor, for he never had any. Or if he had sworn it away before ever he saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is that thou meanest?
One that old Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love is enough to honor him. Enough. Speak no more of him. You'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth thou sayest true, for since the little wit that fools have with silence, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Here comes Monsieur Lebeau,
With his mouth full of news.
which he will put on us as pigeons feed their young.
Then we shall be news-crammed.
All the better, we shall be the more marketable. Bonjour, Monsieur Lebeau, what's the news?
Fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
What color, madam? How shall I answer you?
As wit and fortune will.
Or as the destinies decree.
Well said, that was laid on with a trowel.
Nay, if I keep not my rank.
Thou losest thy old smell.
You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
You tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyships, you may see the end, for the best is yet to do.
Well, the beginning, that is dead and buried.
There comes an old man and his 3 sons.
I can match the beginning with an old tale.
3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence. The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him, and broke 3 of his ribs, that there was little hope of life in him. So he served the 2nd, and so the 3rd. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them that all the beholders take his part with weeping.
Alas.
Is the sport, monsieur, that these ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of?
Thus, men may grow wiser every day. 'Tis the first ever I heard breaking of ribs was a sport for ladies.
Or I promise thee.
But is there any else that longs to see this broken music in his sighs? Is there yet another dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
They are ready to perform it.
Yonder, sure, let us now go and see it.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me? I will physic your rankness, and yet give no 1,000 crowns neither.
Good evening to your worship.
Good Monsieur Charles. What's the news?
There's no news at court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old duke is banished by his younger brother, the new duke, and 3 or 4 loving lords have put themselves into voluntary exile with him, whose lands and revenues enrich the new duke. Therefore, he gives them good leave to wander.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the Duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh no, for the duke's daughter, her cousin, so loves her, being ever from their cradles bred together, that she would have followed her exile, or else have died to stay behind her.
But where will the old Duke live?
And they say he is in the forest of Arden, and a many merry men with him. And there they live like the old Robin Hood of England. They say many young gentlemen flock to him every day, and fleet the time carelessly as they did in the Golden World.
What, you wrestled tonight before the new Duke?
Marry do I, sir, and I came to acquaint you with the matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath the disposition to come in disguised against me to try a fall. Sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquit him well. Your brother is but young and tender, and for your love I would be loath to foil him, as I must for my honor if he come in. Therefore, I came hither to acquaint you with all, that either you might stay him from his intendment, or brook such disgrace, well as he shall run into, as it is a thing of his own search, and altogether against my will.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I most kindly requite. I had myself notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have by underhand means labored to dissuade him from it. But he is resolute. I'll tell thee, Charles, he's the stubbornest young fellow of France, full of ambition, an envious emulator of every man's good parts, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore, use thy discretion. I have a lief thou didst break his neck, as his finger. And thou were best look to it, for if thou dost him any slight disgrace, or if he do not mightily grace himself upon thee, he will practice against thee by poison, and trap thee by some treacherous device, and never leave thee till he has taken thy life by some indirect means or other. For I assure thee, Charles, and almost with tears do I speak it, there is not one so young and villainous this day living. I speak but brotherly of him. But should I anatomize him to thee as he is, I must blush and weep, and thou must look pale and wonder.
I am heartily glad I came hither to you. I'll give him his payment. And if he ever go alone again, I'll never wrestle for prize more. So God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. Now will I stir this gamester. I hope I shall see an end of him, for my soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than he. Yet he's gentle, never schooled, and yet learned, full of noble device, of all sorts enchantingly beloved, and indeed, so much in the heart of the world, and especially of my own people who best know him, that I am altogether misprized. Yet it shall not be so long. This wrestler shall clear all.
Mons, if youth will not be entreated, his own peril and his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madam.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin? Are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Good my liege, so please you give us leave.
You'll take little delight in it, I can tell you. There's such odds in the man. In view of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, lady, see if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur Lebeau.
Do so, I'll not be by.
Monsieur the Challenger, the princesses call for you. I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess. He's the general challenger. I come but in as others do to try with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentleman, your spirits are too bold for your years. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir. Your reputation shall not therefore be misprized. We will make it our suit to the Duke the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there's but one shamed that was never gracious, if killed, but one dead that was willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me, the world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place, which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine to eke out hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Come, where is this young
young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother earth?
Ready, sir, but his will hath in it a more modest working.
You shall try, but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace, you shall not entreat him to a second, for so mightily persuaded him from a first.
And you mean to mock me after? You should not have mocked me before. But come your ways.
Now Hercules be thy speed, young man!
I would I were invisible. Catch the straw and follow my leg.
Oh, get him down!
Oh, excellent, young man!
By the thunderbolt in my leg, television down.
Get him down!
No more, no more!
Yes, I beseech your grace, I'm not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege. Youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed, hadst thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. Thou shouldst have better. I would thou hadst told me of another father.
Were I my father, cause would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I known before, this young man, his son, I should have given him tears unto entreaties ere he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises in love but justly, as you've exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune that can give more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye. Fare you well, fair gentleman.
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a quintain, a mere lifeless block.
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Do you call us, sir?
Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than just your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art o'erthrown. Or Charles, or something weaker masters thee.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place. Albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause and love, yet such is now the Duke's condition that he misconstrues all that you have done. The Duke is humorous. What he is indeed more suits you to conceive than I to speak of.
Thank you, sir. And pray you, tell me this. Which of the two was daughter of the Duke that here was at the wrestling?
Neither is daughter if we judge by manners, but yet indeed the lesser is his daughter, Princess Celia. The other is daughter to the banished Duke. Fair Rosalind here, detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of late this Duke hath ta'en displeasure against his gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues and pity her for her good father's sake. And on my life his mounts against the lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well. Hereafter, in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bound unto you, fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke unto the smother, from tyrant Duke unto a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind,
Why, cousin. Why, Rosalind. Cupid have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
Thy words are too precious to be be cast away upon curs. Throw some of them at me. Come, lay me with reasons.
Then there were two laid up, when one should be lain with reasons, and the other mad without any.
But is all this for your father?
No. Some of it is for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars is this working day world!
They are but burrs, cousin, thrown upon thee in holiday foolery. If you walk not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hand them away.
I would try if I could cry hem and have him.
Come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, good wish upon you. You will try in time in despite of a fall. Let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible, on such a sudden, you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Rowland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
No, Faith, hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that. And do you love him? Because I do.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste, and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, within these 10 days that thou beest found so near a public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence, or have acquaintance with mine own desires, if I do not dream or be not frantic, as I do trust I am not, then, dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors. If their purgation consist in words, they are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me when the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter, there's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Then, good my liege, mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia, we stayed her for your sake, else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young that time to value her, but now I know her. If she be a traitor, why so am I. We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played at together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She's too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very silence, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool, she robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You're a fool. You needs provide yourself. If you outstay the time upon mine honor and the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
No, hast not. I prithee, be cheerful. Knowest thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
Rosalind lacks then a love which teacheth thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No, let my father seek another heir. Therefore, devise with me how we may fly, and do not seek to take your change upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out. For, by this heaven, now at our sorrows pale, say what thou canst, I'll go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us maids as we are to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you, so shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better, because that I am more than common tall, that I did suit me all points like a man, a gallant curtleaxe upon my thigh, a boar-spear in my hand and in my heart. Lie there, what hidden woman's fearing their will. Oh, have a swashing and martial outside, as many other mannish cowards do have, that I'll face it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Joe's own page. And therefore, look, you call me Ganymede, but what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
But cousin, what if we essayed to steal that clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our journey?
He'll go along o'er the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Now, let's away, and get our jewels and wealth together. Devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now, go we in content. To liberty, and not to banishment.
I don't know what we're doing, I don't know what we've done. But the fire is coming, so I think we should run, I think we should run.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pine? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we, with the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, as the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this, our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. I would not change it.
Happy is your grace, that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet it irks me the poor and dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, should in their own confines with forked heads have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord. The melancholy Jaques grieves at that, and in that kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you.
Today, we stole behind him as he lay along the brook that brawls along this wood, to the which place a poor sequestered stag that, from the hunter's aim hath ta'en a herd, did come to languish, and the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose in piteous chase.
What said Jaques? Did not he moralize the spectacle?
Oh yes, into 1,000 similes. First for his weeping into the needless stream. Poor dear, quoth he, thus misery doth part the flux of company.
Anon a careless herd, full of the pasture, jumps along by him and never stays to greet him. Ay, quoth Jaques, sweep on, you fat and greasy citizens, 'tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon that poor and broken bankrupt there?
Thus most invectively he pierceth through the body of the country, city, court, yea, and of this our life, swearing that we are mere usurpers, tyrants, and what's worse, to fright the animals and to kill them up in their assigned and native dwelling place.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Come, show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
We'll bring you to him straight.
Possible that no man saw them? Cannot be. Some villains of my court were of consent and sufferance in this.
cannot hear of any that did see her. The ladies, her attendants of her chamber, saw her abed, and in the morning early they found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
My lord, the Rhenish clown at whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh is also missing. Hesperia, the princess gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly overheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and grace of the wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles. And she believes wherever they are gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother, fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring his brother to me. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly, and let not search and inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
Who's there?
Oh, my sweet master. Oh, you memory of old Sir Roland. Why, what make you here? Why are you virtuous? Why do people love you? Why are you gentle, strong, and valiant? Why would you be so fond to overcome the bonny prizer of the humorous Duke? Praise is come too swiftly home before you. Know you not, master, that to some kind of men their graces serve them but as enemies? No more do yours. Your virtues, gentle master, are sanctified and holy traitors to you. Ah, what a world is this when what is comely envenoms him that bears it?
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth, come not within these doors. Within this roof, the enemy of all your graces lies. Your brother, no brother, yet the son, yet not the son. I will not call him son of him I was about to call his father. Hath heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. If he fail of that, he will have other means to cut you off. Oh, I overheard him in his practices. This is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it, fear it, do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither, so you come not here.
What, wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? Or to base and boisterous sword enforce a thievish living on the common road? My brother will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns, the thrifty hire I saved under your father, which I did store to be my foster nurse. Take that, and he that doth the ravens feed, yea, providently caters for the sparrow. Be comfort to my age. Here is the gold, and all this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. For in my youth, I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood, nor did not with unbashful forehead woo the means of weakness and debility. Therefore, my age is as a lusty winter, frosty, but kindly. Let me go with you. I will do the service of a younger page in all your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man. How well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world, where service sweat for duty, not for meed. How art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion, and having that do choke their service up, even with the having. It is not so with thee. But poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree that cannot so much as a blossom yield in lieu of all thy pains and husbandry. But come thy ways. We'll go along together, and ere we have thy youthful ages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty. From 17 years till now, almost 80. Here lived I, but now live here no more. At 17 years many their fortune seek, but at 80 it is too late a week. Yet fortune cannot recompense me better than to die well, and not my master's debtor.
my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I could find in my heart to cry out like a woman and disgrace my man's apparel. But I must comfort the weaker vessel, as doublet and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoats. Therefore, courage, good Aliena.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I had rather bear with you than bear you.
Oh, this is the force of Arden.
Aye, now am I in Arden, the more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place, but travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good touchstone. Look you who comes here, a young man in an old and solemn talk.
This is the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewest how I do love her.
I hardly guess, for I have loved her now.
No, Corin, being old thou canst not guess. Though in thy youth thou wast as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love was ever like to mine, as sure I think did never man love so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 I have since forgotten.
Oh, thou didst then ne'er love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not sat, as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not broke from company abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe! 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 Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy own wound, I had by hot adventure found my own.
And I mine. I remember when I was in love. I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him take that for coming a knight to Jane's smile. And I remember the kissing of her backlet and the cow's dugs her pretty chopped hands had milked. And I remember the wooing of a peas cod instead of her, from the which I took 2 cods and, giving her them again, said with weeping tears, wear these for my sake. We that are true lovers run into strange capers, but as all is mortal in nature, so is all nature in love mortal in folly.
Thou speakest wiser than thou art ware of.
Nay, I shall ne'er beware of mine own wit till I break my shins against it.
Jove, Jove, thy shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine, but it grows somewhat stale with me.
I pray you, none of you question yon man if he for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
Holla, you clown!
Peace, you fool! He's not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
You're better, sir!
Else are they very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good even to you, friend.
And you, good sir, and to you all.
I pray you, if that gold or love can in this desert place by entertainment bring us where we may rest and feed ourselves. Here's a young maid with travel much oppressed and faints for succor.
I pity her, fair sir, and wish for her sake more than for mine own. My fortunes were more able to relieve her, but I am shepherd to another man, and do not shear the fleeces that I graze. Besides, my master's flocks and bounds of feed are now on sale, and at our sheep cut now, by reason of his absence, there is nothing that you will feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy his flock and pasture?
That young swain you saw but erewhile, that cares little for buying anything.
I prithee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, flock, and pasture, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we will mend thy wages. I like this place and willingly could waste my time in it.
Surely the thing is to be sold. Go with me. If you like, upon report, the soil, profit, and this kind of life, I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather.
More, I prithee, more.
'Twill make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I thank it. More, I prithee, more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee, more.
My voice is ragged. I know it cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Come, more, another stanzo. Call you them stanzas. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well then, if ever I thank any man, I'll thank you. But that they call compliment is like the encounter of two dog apes. And when a man thanks me heartily, I think I have given him a penny, and he renders me the beggarly thanks. Come, sing. You that will not hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. Sir, fetch the Duke. He hath been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, warble, come.
Who doth ambition shun, and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats, and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather.
I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday in despite of my invention.
And I'll sing it.
Thus it goes. If it do come to pass that any man turns ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please, duck dame, duck dame, duck dame, here shall he see gross fools as he, and if he will come to me.
What's that duck dame?
'Tis a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I'll go sleep if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll go seek the Duke.
Oh, dear master, I can go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why, how now, Adam? No greater heart in thee. Live a little comfort, a little cheer thyself, a little for my sake. Be comfortable. Hold death a while at the arm's end. I will here be with thee presently, and if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said. Thou livest cheerly. Come, I will bear thee to some shelter, and then thou shalt not die for the lack of a dinner, if there live anything in this desert. Cheerly, good Adam.
I think he be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man.
He is but even now gone hence. Here is he merry hearing of a song.
If he compact of jars grow musical, we shall have shortly discord in the spheres. Go, seek him, tell him I would speak with him.
He saves my labor by his own approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo your company, but you look merrily.
A fool. A fool. I met a fool in the forest. A motley fool. A miserable world. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms. Good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow fool, quoth I. No, sir, says he, call me not fool till heaven send me fortune. And then drew he a dial from his poke, and looking on it with lackluster eyes, says very wisely, 'tis 10 o'clock. Thus may we see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Twas but an hour ago since it were 9, and in 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripe, and then from hour to hour we rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like chanticleer, that fools should be so deep contemplative, and I did laugh sans intermission an hour by his dial. Oh, noble fool, a worthy fool, motley is the only wear.
What fool is this?
Oh, worthy fool, one that hath been a courtier, and one that says if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gifts to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder of biscuit after a voyage, he hath many strange places crammed with observation, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool! I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is mine only suit, provided that you weed your better judgments of all opinion that grows rank in them, that I am wise. I must have liberty withal, as large a charter as the wind to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. And they that are most galled with my folly, they most must laugh. Why, sir, must they so? The why is plain his way to parish church. He that a fool doth very wisely hit, doth very foolishly, although he smart? Not to seem senseless of the bob. If not, the wise man's folly is anatomized even by the squandering glances of the fool. Invest me in my motley. Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will, through and through, cleanse the foul body of this infected world. If they will patiently receive my medicine.
Fie on thee. I could tell what thou wouldst do.
What for a counter would I do but good?
Most mischievous foul sin in chiding sin. For thou thyself hast been a libertine as sensual as the brutish sting itself, and all the embossed sores and headed evils that thou with license of free foot hast caught, wouldst thou disgorge into the general world.
Why? Who cries out on pride that can therein tax any private party? Doth it not flow as hugely as the sea to the very weary means do ebb? What woman in the city do I name, when that I say the city woman bears the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders? Who can come in and say that I mean her, when such a one as she, such is her neighbor? And what is he of basest function that says his bravery comes not at my cost, thinking that I mean him? Therein suits his folly to the metal of my speech. There then. How then? What then? Let me see wherein my tongue hath wronged him. If it do him right, then he wrongs himself. If he be free, why then my taxing, like the wild goose, flies unclaimed of any man. But who comes here?
Forbear and eat no more!
Why, I have had none yet.
Nor shalt not till necessity be served.
Of what kind should this cock come of?
Art thou this bulging man by thy distress? Or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemst so empty?
You touched my vein at first. The thorny point of bare distress hath ta'en from me the show of smooth civility. Yet am I inland bred and know some nurture. But forbear, I say! He dies that touches any of this fruit till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently. Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are, that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of melancholy boughs, lose and neglect the creeping hours of time, if ever you have looked on better days, if ever been where bells had knolled to church, if ever sat at any good man's feast, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear and known what 'tis to pity and be pitied. Let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
Sure is it that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, and sat at good men's feasts, and wiped our eyes with drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little while, whilst like a doe I go to find my fawn and give it food. There's a poor old man, who after me hath many a weary step limped in pure love. Till he be first sufficed, oppressed with 2 weak evils, age and hunger, I will not touch a bit.
Go, find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. And then, the whining schoolboy, this satchel, shiny morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then, the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made out to his mistress, his eyebrow. Then, the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then, the justice, in fair round belly with good cape lined, his eye severe, beard a formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts to the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful hose, well saved. A world too wide for his shrunk shank. And his big, manly voice, turning once again to childish treble, pipes, and whistles in the sound. Last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, is second childishness in mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burthen and let him feed.
Thank you most for him.
So had you need. I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome, Fulcio. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music and cousin. Play.
Eyes busy making breezes, blowing love in bits and pieces. I don't mind the storm. I'm told you'd always keep me warm.
If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as you have whispered faithfully you were, and as mine eye doth his effigies witness, most truly limbed and living in your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. The residue of your fortune go to my cave and tell me. Good old man, thou art right welcome as thy master is. Support him by the arm. Give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand. Not see him since? Sir, that cannot be. Were I not the better part made mercy, should not seek an absent argument of my revenge, thou present. But look to it, find out thy brother wheresoe'er he is. Seek him with candle, bring him dead or living within this 12-month. Return thou no more to seek a living in our territory. Thy lands and all things that thou dost call thine, worth seizure, do we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this.
I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou. Well, push him out of doors. Let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently and turn him going.
Lost out an enemy. It's bleeding inside of me.
Hang there, my verse, in witness of my love, and thou, thrice-crowned queen of night, survey with thy chaste eye from thy pale sphere above thy huntress name that my full life doth sway. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, the unexpressive sheaf.
And how like you this shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. Now, in respect it is solitary, I like it very well. But in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. In respect it is in the fields, it pleaseth me well. But in respect it is not in court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humor well. But as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast thou any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more, but I know the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is. That he that wants money, means, and content is without 3 good friends. That he that hath learned no wit by nature nor art may complain of good breeding or comes of a very dull breed. That the property of rain is to wet and fire to burn, and that great cause of the night is the lack of sun.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Wast ever in court, shepherd?
No, truly?
Then thou art damned.
Nay, I hope.
Truly, thou art damned like an ill-roasted egg, all on one side.
For not being in court. Your reason?
Why? If thou ne'er wast in court, thou ne'er sawest good manners. If thou ne'er sawest good manners, then thy manners must be wicked. And wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
None of it, Touchstone. The behavior of the country is as mockable at court as the behavior of court is most foolish in the country. You say you salute not to the court, yet you kiss your hands. Well, this courtesy would be uncleanly. Courtiers were shepherds.
Instance, briefly, come. Instance.
Why, we are still handling our ewes, and their fells, as you know, are greasy.
Why? Do not your courtiers' hands sweat? And is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, shallow. A better instance, I say, come.
Besides, our hands are hard,
Your lips will feel them the sooner. Shallow again. A more sounder instance.
and are often scarred over with the surgery of our sheep. Would you have us kiss scars? The courtier's hands are perfumed with civet.
Most shallow man! Thou worm's meat in respect of a good piece of flesh indeed. Learn of the wise and perpend civet is of a baser birth than tar, the very uncleanly flux of a cat. Mend the instance, shep.
You've too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest damned? God help thee, shallow man. God make incision in thee. Thou art raw.
Sir, I'm a true laborer. Earn what I eat, get that I wear. Oh, no man hate, envy, no man's happiness. Content with my harm, and the greatest of my pride is to watch my ewes graze and my lambs suffer.
That is another simple sin in you. to bring your ewes and your rams together, and to offer to get your living by the copulation of cattle, to be bawd to a bellwether, and to betray a she-lamb of a 12-month to a crooked-pated, old, cockledy ram out of all reasonable match. If thou beest not damned for this, the devil himself shall have no shepherds. I cannot see else how thou shouldst escape.
Ah, here comes young Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
From the east to western end, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth, being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosaline, but no fair be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosaline.
If a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosaline. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. They that reap must sheaf and bind, then to cart with Rosalind. Sweetest nut hath the sourest rind, such a nut is Rosalind. He that sweetest rose must find love's prick and Rosalind.
Out, fool!
This is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool! I found them on a tree.
This tree yields bad fruit.
I'll grab it with you, and then I shall grab it with the meddler. Then it'll be the earliest fruit in the country, for you'll be rotten ere you be half ripe, and that's the right virtue of the meddler.
You have said, but whether wisely or no, let the forest judge.
Peace. Here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this a desert be? For it is unpeopled. No. Tongues all hang on every tree. That shall civil sayings show. Somehow brief the life of man runs his erring pilgrimage. That the stretching of a span buckles in his sum of age. Some of violated vows twixt the souls of friend and friend. But upon the fairest vows, or at every sentence end, will I Rosalinda write, teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every sprite, heaven would in little show. Thus Rosalind of many parts by heavenly synod was devised, of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touch's dearest prize. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live and die her slave.
Oh, most gentle pulpiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners with all and never cried, have patience, good people.
Oh, now back, friends. A shepherd, go off a little. Go with him, Sirrah.
Come, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat. If not with bag and baggage, yet with scrip and scrippage.
But didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them all, and more, too. For some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
That's no matter, the feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame, and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees? Know you who hath done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck. Change your color.
I prithee who?
Oh, Lord, Lord, it is hard matter for friends to meet, but mountains may be removed with earthquakes, and so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now with most petitionary vehemence tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that, out of all hooping.
Good by complexion, an inch of delay more is a south sea of discovery. I prithee, tell me who is it, and quickly and speak apace. I would that thou couldst stammer, that thou might pour this concealed man out of thy mouth, as wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much once or none at all. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
Why is he of God's making? What manner of man is his head with his hat, or his chin with a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Why, God will send more, if the man will be thankful. Stay me not the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tripped up the wrestler's heels, and your heart both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking, speak, sad brow, and true name.
Faith, cuz, 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas, the day! What shall I do with my Dublin and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? How looked he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word!
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age's size. Say, I a note to these particulars is as much to answer in a catechism.
Doth he know I'm in this forest, and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
It is as easy to count atomies as to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him, and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
Oh, maybe we'll call Jove's tree when it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Oh, though it be a pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
I hollow to thy tongue, I prithee, it curvets unseasonably.
Oh.
He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous! He comes to kill my heart.
I will sing my song without a burden. Thou bringest me out of tune.
Do you not know she is a woman? What she thinks she must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out.
Soft, how's he not here?
'Tis he. Slink by and note him.
I thank you for your company, but good faith, I had as lief been by myself alone.
And so had I, but yet, for fashion's sake, thank you too for your society.
God be with you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you, mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name.
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You're full of pretty answers.
Not so, but I answer you right.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Will you sit down with me, and we two shall rail against our mistress the world in all our misery.
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He's gone in the brook. Look within it, you shall see him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
Nay then, I'll tarry no more with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I am glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
Speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under the habit, play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forster?
Very well, what would you?
I pray you. What's it o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in divers paces with divers persons. I'll tell you, time trots withal, who time ambles withal, and who time gallops withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Married, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a 7 night, time's pace is so long, it seems the length of a 7 year.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, and the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows, for though he go as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With the shepherdess, my sister, in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your speaking is something finer than you can purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many. But indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who, in his youth, was an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be touched with so many giddy offenses. He hath generally taxed the whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils he lay to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They're all like one another as halfpence are. Everyone false seeming monstrous till his fellow fall came to match it.
I prithee, recount some of them.
No, I will not cast my physic away but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest by abusing our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon all thorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped. I pray you tell me your remedy.
There are none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know man and love.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not. Then your hoe should be in your bonnet, your bonnet unbuttoned, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it. You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she is apt to do than confess that she does. This is one of the points in which the women still give the lie to their consciences. But, in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet, I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, in which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears and full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, would one day like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world, but to live in a nook merely monastic. And thus I cured him, and in this way will I take it upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there will not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind, and come every day to my coach to woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I will show it to you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister. Will you go?
Rosalind.
Girl,